Hello, Henry from Belgium here. It's been a while since I showed you a vintage train set. I have already quite a few in my collection, of which you can see extensive videos on my channel, but I also have these ones that I will make a video of in the future. The ones with the green artwork and blue tracks are from the 70s or even earlier. The ones with the grey artwork and grey tracks are from the 80s and are also called the grey period sets. The one I show you today is this one, set 7838, freight loading depot from 1983. It contains 315 pieces, including 3 minifigs. The set appeals to me because it has a crane system. Loyal viewers already know that this is one of my favorite elements to discover. I found these 3 boxes together in a lot. They were not complete, so I could negotiate a better price. And the fact that I could buy them in a lot of 3 helped even more, because that way I could negotiate a package deal. I'm going to build the set for the first time today, and I will share my experiences with you. Of course, I have already done a lot of research on the internet, and I've completed the missing bricks. The box is in decent condition for its age, and by this I mean that it still contains all the cardboard. There are some cracks and dents here and there, but you can still speak of a box in which you can still store the parts. On both sides of the inner box, I see some sticker damage and the images are somewhat faded. But the cover looks still good with a colorful picture. In this case, the images on the back are not suggestions for alternative constructions, but of how to play with the set. And I see that the emphasis is mainly on the grabber, which is the eye-catcher of the set. It's the type of box where the cover slides over the inner box, and where you have to slide the base plate between the cover, because the inner box is too small for the plate. It's a grey 32 by 32 base plate, and this one has white dots, which indicate where to start building. So that makes the plate unique, and it only appears in this set. The manual is not pre-folded, fits in the box, and has a handy A4 format. Here, I immediately noticed the colorful photo on the back. It is a beautiful image of how you can build a complete town with mainly train sets. The manual is very clear and divided into 3 elements to build: the wagon, the crane, and the depot. For the depot, I see 22 different steps. It is not a small set, but not too big either, and I think that is actually ideal to relax for an hour and do some basic brick building. In today's modern sets, you often need 300 parts just to build a base of something, and I personally don't like that very much. I see a lot of variation in both color and shape. And I also see some ready-made pieces that I have not seen before. I didn't like large elements in one piece that much, but over the years I've grown to like them because they make the set unique in some way. And if the balance is right with the basic bricks, it is even fun to have them around. There are 3 minifigs in a good condition. The prints are nice, and they actually still look like new after all these years. No cracks in the torso and no fading. 2 have a construction helmet and 1 has a normal cap. I will build the wagon first, and for that I need quite a few bricks. A combination of plates, slope bricks, and specific train parts. I noticed that the base consists entirely of black bricks and plates. A small detail in color might have been nice here. Fortunately, there are some cool colored elements on the base, such as these light gray bars. And I especially like these parts that I haven't seen before. By combining 2 elements, you can make a kind of tub. They are attached by 2x2x3 plates, and as an extra finishing touch, also 4 slope bricks, which are normally used on the roof of houses. I am actually also pleasantly surprised by the hinge system. It is a combination of 2x2 tiles and plates that click together, and that you have to put on top of each other. Here you have to make sure that you put them on top of each other in the right direction. You can place the red tubs on it and you have a very nice play feature. You can tilt the tubs in various ways. I think it is a nice result. I especially like the red tubs. Maybe some extra finishing could have been done here, a mini ladder and maybe also a print in the form of electronics on the slope bricks. Or the suggestion of a lever or button with which the minifig could have tilted the tubs. The crane is the second element I will build. I always enjoy building crane systems, but here I immediately have noticed in the manual that this is a very basic model with not that many bricks. I like the base with the 4 large support posts and also a 5th that I will later put on the cabin, but the cabin itself is really minimal. There are no doors, no steering wheel, or brick with electronics. Okay, there is a seat, a space gun, and a folding roof. But I would have liked to see some extras such as lighting on the roof. Perhaps also a print or sticker or a more original design in general. Also, a ladder system along which the minifig could reach his cabin would have been really cool. But I certainly don't want to sound negative. We are talking about a set from 1983. And the large grabber makes up for me a lot. The bottom is designed in a special way so that it fits in the ground on the base plate, but I will demonstrate that later in the video. And now, as a third element, the depot. First, a lot of black basic bricks for the base, with plates in light gray on top. I noticed 2 nice details in terms of finish. Here is a rail system, incorporated so that the doors can slide open. And this plate has a hinge system so that you can lift the plate up. Contrary to what the manual indicates, I am going to finish the entire base plate first. Here in the middle, there will be rails. And then here in the front, there will be a lot of light gray bricks in which the crane can be placed. For these old train sets, and other sets in general, from the 80s and 90s, it's important that you use the historically correct light gray bricks, and not the more recent light bluish gray ones. Personally, I like this older color much more, but maybe that's because I grew up with it. Since this is finished, I can already test the play feature of the crane. Although the distance you can slide is quite limited, it is a nice extra play element. What also strikes me now is that the crane is really specifically designed to only grab goods from this side and put it in the wagon. It can't realistically take the goods that are on the other side of the depot. Then they should have provided an extendable arm, and that was probably too complex to design. But already a nice result, and it is not done yet because I still have to build the depot itself. For that, I have a whole bunch of blue bricks that are built on top of each other in a classic way. Corner bricks weren't designed yet, so lots of 1x1 bricks, 1x2, 1x3, and 1x4 bricks. Of course, a rail system also needs to be provided at the top of the doors, and that separate piece is nicely designed. 3 transparent bricks have to be processed in the facade. If you want everything historically correct, then you have to check that it is definitely the version without tubes, so completely hollow. They are quite rare bricks, and they only appear in this set. They are in very good condition, not discolored, and no scratches or playwear. For bricks in such a condition, sellers on Bricklink ask up to 5 to 6 euros each. The white doors are fun, and the rail system works perfectly. It's an extra play feature and an absolute added value. These types of doors in a white color are also quite rare and only appear in 2 other sets. Here too, I noticed the good condition, no discoloration, and almost no playwear. And that can actually be said about the entire set. All bricks are still in a very nice condition, considering the age of more than 40 years. The upper floor is also nicely finished with fences, windows, and a door. And inside there is also good decoration, a swivel chair, and 2 slope bricks with prints. Seeing this now, I think that the idea is that the minifig can control the functions of the wagon from here. What I also find particularly positive is that there are mini ladders incorporated on the side to make one large ladder. So this way the minifig can reach the upper floor. I don't see that often. Finally, the roof is a bit of a puzzle with some plates, because there are 2 more slanted windows in the middle. They provide a nice incidence of light, and it is also more beautiful than just a flat roof. The end result looks great. I like the color palette, especially the bright color combinations of blue, yellow, and red. In the depot, there are goods in the form of 3x2 yellow 2x2 bricks. Here, I think it's a pity that these are not a little more personalized or have an extra detail. For example, a sticker with the inscription transport could have been cool. And of course, if you want to play the story well, you need a forklift truck that brings the yellow goods or puts them in a second wagon. But I especially like that the base plate is well filled and that various activities can take place. Of course, the intention is that you combine this with other sets and build your own town. Despite the fact that it's basic, it contains nice parts and play features. I like it, and above all, it gives me a feeling of cheerfulness. That is why it will definitely get a nice place in my collection. And of course also for the historical value, and because this set, complete with box and manual, is not easy to find. Feel free to comment below this video. And don't forget to subscribe, it's free. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.